When you're Chonga, you they sit here, you speak French, you speak Spanish, you speak English. What else does he even speak?
He speaks rap.
No, French, English, Spanish. I even think you speak French better than Ga. But that's a different debate.
Greet him in Ga.
You should go and teach Ga for
greet him
nothing.
in
You
Ga.
know the problem because they changed the A-level system.
Uh,
A-level people, by the time you finish sixth form, he's in Ada teaching Ga.
Well,
But SSS, you finish, you sit house, then you watch TV, and then you go to Lagos. Is the SS one of the great? See, all my brothers who are A-level, they did national service twice. First one after sixth form, second one after uni.
that's okay.
So they have 2 years working experience.
That's fine.
They are more mature.
That's fine.
SS babies. Sit
That's
house,
okay.
watch TV, eat brodo, then you go to university.
But after uni, did I not do my
Oh,
service?
but that's your
I
first one.
thought.
Even the first one that we went to do, no, that the uni after uni, a lot of us didn't want to get posted to village. Ask anybody who did A level. The places they listen to the betting yesterday. Your minister for health, he went to teach maths at Chirinsua Secondary School. People, all the A level guys.
but Chirinso is not a village like that, though. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but still. So the point is that you should be teaching Ga.
Okay.
You're a translator trained so called.
That's
So if they don't get a teacher next week, I'll summon you there.
The A-level time national service and the current national service. There's a difference.
You don't understand. I'm saying that A level they did it twice.
I know. And you were saying people will go to the villages
Yes.
and the dynamics have changed.
It's not, nothing has changed.
The needs have changed.
We even have roads now. I have a friend who was doing national service. He sat in a tractor to get to the village he was teaching. He sat in a tractor because there's the road to the village, no car can go. So when the tractor goes twice a week.
We've had this conversation before in a different level, on a different scale. When we talked about posting of healthcare workers to villages and they don't want to go.
And do you know?
And
Have
the
you
various issues
noticed
they
that wealthy parents are now letting their children do A level? Most of the international schools where they charge a lot of
yes, they do
money,
that.
most of the parents are opting for O level. In fact, some they are doing IG something. Then the rest are doing O and A level. Then we the ordinary people they are doing
because they do
SSS.
not want their children to continue higher education in Ghana.
No, it's not just that. I have people who do A level and still come to Legon and come to level
A
200.
lot of them aspire to get their children onto the next stage. And I assume that most of the parents who invest so much in those things do not make
Kojo,
those
if
investments.
the A level were bad, parents who have money will not be opting for it.
But most of I'm just
Do
saying
you understand?
that
Why are parents with money asking the international schools do A level for their children?
all I'm suggesting is that they pay because and they go through those options because they usually target schools outside.
It's
and
also
not-
because
and
they
not the
believe
local
it's also
education
because
system.
they believe the system is more rigorous.
And also
the
because
reason.
they believe that if your child schools outside, they have 2 legs in front of the child who schools here.
Kojo, I'm a PTA chairman. So when I talk about these things, you trust me. I'm telling you that people believe the A levels system is more rigorous than
I
the
don't
SSS.
doubt- I don't
I'm
doubt
telling
what-
you,
I
you
don't
know,
doubt
you
what
know,
you say.
you can discuss that later. Ask any parent who pays their dollars for A level.
I'm not disagreeing. No.
It's the rigor.
I'm also giving you extra reasons why they invest so much in
And
those
I
things.
am the last group of SSS who met A level. So me, when I went to secondary school, Form 1, there are people who the sixth formers were there. So we met them. They grow past. The way they grow the ball. Charlie, anyway, let's we are the last SS1 to meet A level.
Well, looking at our needs now, it's a conversation we can have. O level, A level, time spent in school, the professionals we need, the human resources we need. It's a conversation we can have.
Okay, so let's start with the headlines.
Yeah, the Daily Graphic says Jean Mensa won't testify. Supreme Court rules. Mahama moves to subpoena EC chair. Military to establish bases in 16 regions. That's the minister designates for defense. And all set for Council of State election today.
Now, if you go to the front page of the Ghanaian Times, ongoing election petition, we can't compel EC chair to testify, Supreme Court rules. Nalerigo prison records 3 COVID-19 positive cases. President promotes officers, other ranks of Ghana prison service. Construction work begins on ultra-modern palace for Nungua Traditional Council. An election petition, Mahama files motion to reopen case.
Okay, the Daily Guide says Mahama bounced again. Can't compel EC boss to testify. Nungwa Traditional Council starts office complex. Dominic Nitiwu says, I didn't order soldiers to parliament. We are using IT to fight crime and truck crushes 5 cars at Insawam.
Now, the Chronicle 2020 election petition cross-examinations Yamutu. Bachachu files to reopen case and subpoena Jean Mensah. Murdered Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority boss family pounces on Kandapa over comment at vetting. And Ablakwa Nitiwu in hot exchange over Mahomes land.
The Herald says, fire baptism for Godfred Dami, Che Mensah Bonsu, Ambrose Derry today. Akufo-Addo's appointee jabs MPP serial callers, ask them to be useful and stop begging. More drama over 2020 stolen verdict as Mahama files to reopen case and subpoena Jane Mensah. Only 1.6 million workers making SSNIT contributions. That's coming from the SSNIT boss.
Now, the new weekend crusading guide to mount the witness box or not. We can't compel EC to testify, Supreme Court rules. But Mahama files to reopen case, hence to subpoena EC. Now, 3 inmates of the Northeast region test positive to COVID-19. Don't relax. Let's fight COVID-19 together. Kentaki Telku Churu II urges Ghanaians. And non-performing Amenfi East MC must go. Group to Akufo-Addo.
The Daily Statesman says, you can't force Jean Mark to testify. Supreme Court rules against Mahama orders for filing of written submissions. Rebecca Foundation donates to Konfanoshi Teaching Hospital and military bases for all 16 regions. Defense Minister Designate reveals.
The Ghanaian Observer, Election 2020 petition, court cannot compel respondents to give evidence. Election 2020, provide evidence that military took over role of EC. Defense Minister Designate challenges critics. Fight against COVID-19, please backs government disinfection exercise. And the construction of the Nungwa Traditional Council edifice is also on the front page.
The BNFT's front page says, banks borrowed 2.57 billion cedis from BOG in pandemic year. A 195% increase from 872.96 million. Analysts blame COVID-19's impact on businesses. Work begins on construction of Nungwa Traditional Council. And OT region COVID-19 offenders escape prosecution due to absence of courts, plus task force constituted to monitor compliance of protocols.
Now, the Ghanaian publisher, you cannot have Adukwe, that is the EC chairperson. Supreme Court shoots down Mahomes' request to cross-examine EC boss. I didn't order soldiers to Parliament, Nitiwu, military bases to be established in all 16 regions. Eugene Ahin addresses viral divorce and health minister designates demands more funds for NHIS.
Let me take you online. A few more stories. CityNewsroom.com. IGP directs police to protect tomato importers traveling to Burkina Faso. So that's after the noise on Wednesday. Other stories, I'll deal with stakeholders to bring finality to universities bill. This is Educhum. 12 more COVID-19 related deaths recorded in Ghana. Meanwhile, Minister Designate for Foreign Affairs says, I wasn't consulted on $150 charge for COVID-19 test at KIA. Still from the vetting, handover Seglemi houses to be used as military barracks. This is Dominic Nitiwu agreeing with a question that was asked him. Also, we're told military to establish bases in all 16 regions. And Mahama could also be subpoenaed for cross-examination, according to Kojo Opon Nkrumah. If you go to City Business News, government is being urged to build capacity of tomato farmers to help meet local demand. Again, that's coming in from discussions on tomatoes. Meanwhile, price of goods and services up by almost 10%. And we've saved over 500 million cedis through improved internal controls. This is according to SSNIT. John Online is leading with the election petition. Here's a very interesting headline. Respondent's case was insipid and wishy-washy. This is Marietta Bria-Propon. She's not too happy. Former Attorney General. Also, Ejapadi, timing of data banks withdrawal, questionable bid rigging issues unresolved, according to CSOs. And from the vetting, schools to remain open despite resurgence in COVID cases, according to nominee Educhum. Star News. Very interesting story here from Jampo. It says, election petition winning with tactics could create tension. And also, Jean Mensah won't testify according to the Supreme Court, of course. And then Mahama files motion to reopen case. We have that information already. And so, guys, let's get into the details of the story.
If you go to the front page of the Daily Graphic, it says Jean Mensah won't testify. Supreme Court rules. Story written by Emmanuel Bohoxin. And it says the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mrs. Jean Adukwe, Mensah cannot be compelled to testify in the 2020 presidential election petition filed by former President John Mahama, the Supreme Court has ruled. This means the EC chairperson will not mount the witness box to be cross-examined in the petition in which Mr. Mahama, the presidential candidate of the NDC in the December elections, is challenging the declaration by her that President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the NPP's candidate, won the poll. In a unanimous ruling yesterday, the Apex Court held that the rules of court and decided cases did not give it the power to order parties to call witnesses to adduce evidence if they, the parties, choose not to do so.
There are 4 lead headlines from this story. First one, Mahama has filed a motion to reopen his case. That's the first one. Second one, he's seeking to review the ruling preventing cross-examination of Jean Mensah. So those are 2 issues to be determined. While that is going to happen, Supreme Court has ordered lawyers to file their closing addresses by Friday, which is February 17, that's next Friday. And then finally, Chachuchi Kata seeks to subpoena to compel Jean Mensah to testify. So these are the 4 things that came out of the story.
And Kojo Nkrumah also says that they also subpoena the petitioner if. So that's also one of the angles. And Mrs. Apiopon says the petitioner has a strong case and not relying on respondents.
She described the respondent's case as wishy-washy and insipid. Okay, so let's go to the vetting. A couple of interesting stories coming from there.
Yes, now to the vetting, there are some interesting stories here. There's this one on the Meded GPHA boss, human interest story, which the Chronicle is leading with.
It came up during the vetting.
Yes. Now, the story says the Abrazu family of Cape Coast has expressed worry over a statement made by the National Security Minister designate, Albert Kandapa, that the police had solved all high-profile murder cases in the country, except that of Ahmed Swale, the Tiger IPI undercover journalist. Now, the Ghana Ports and Harbours Authority Marketing and Public Affairs Manager at the Tema Port, Mrs. Josephine Asante, who was murdered on Sunday, January 13, 2019, hailed from the Abrazu family. And they are saying that that statement made by the minister designate was not correct because this case has not been solved.
If you go to page 16 of the Daily Graphic, they also pick a story from the vetting of the Minister Designate for Defense. He says military to establish bases in 16 regions. Now, the Minister Designate for Defense, Mr. Dominic Nitiwul, has said that there are plans for the establishment of military bases in each of the 16 regions across the country that he said would support the police to ensure law and order as well as protect the citizenry and the country.
From the same person's vetting, he said he didn't order soldiers to parliament. That story is captured by the Ghanaian publisher. The story says Minister Designate for Defense Dominic Nitiwul has defended himself against accusations that he gave orders to military personnel who invaded the Chamber of Parliament on the dawn of 7 January 2021. According to him, at that decisive time when the incident happened, he did not have the capacity to move any personnel of the Ghana Armed
Still
Forces.
on Dominic Nitiwul, his name came up quite a bit. His vetting was quite animated because there's a headline you read about here and a black one on exchange over some land. Then there's also an issue of the Saglemi housing project. Now, he says he believes that it will be good to hand over the Saglemi houses, which have been abandoned, to be used as military barracks. In fact, we had the About Town show last week where Caleb visited the house. And lots of money pumped into this project.
Yes.
And it's just lying unused for 4 years. Can you imagine? This was done by the Mahama administration, and the 4 years of the next administration did not use it. So now the suggestion has been made that they should use it to house the military, which he seems to agree. But the plan is for them to then move them from Burma camp. So that's a story that came out of that one.
And the bit about Ablako and Nitiwul that you mentioned earlier is captured by the Chronicle. The story says Samuel Okudzeto Ablako, a member of the Appointments Committee of Parliament, had a hot exchange of words with the nominee for Defense Minister Dominic Nitiwul on the latter's comments made some time back that former President John Dramani Mahama was living on military land. Mr. Nitiwul was reported to have made a statement on December 7, 2017 and had advised Mahama to leave the disputed land since it did not augur well for a former commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces.
Okay, if you go to page 20 of the Daily Graphic, it says all set for Council of State election today.
Sorry, let me just finish the vetting. Okay, so Educhum has also been vetted. It says our dialogue with stakeholders to bring finality on public universities bill. That was a big one. And then Sheila Koboche, Foreign Minister nominee, says I wasn't consulted on $150 charge for COVID-19 tests. So that's interesting because this was an issue that the health minister was vetted on. He says he hasn't seen the contract. Now, Foreign Minister says I wasn't consulted on the fee for the testing. So it looks like they are really trying to find out how that arrangement was made and those monies charged. So let's come back to you.
Yes, so page 20 of the Daily Graphic says that today the Council of State elections will be happening. Now, the election will be taking place at designated venues in the regional capitals, where 2 delegates nominated by the MMDAs in each region will elect a candidate to represent the region on the Council of State during the second term of the president. Now, the election will take place between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., after which the EC's regional directors will declare the results.
Bernard, there's a story here, final one, which I want to bring to your attention. No soldier was assigned to any mining area this year.
This was from the vetting as well.
And this was the same Dominic Nitiwu. And he says that any member of the armed forces who is seen at any mining site will be doing so on the blind side of the military high command. That's what he said there. And at the completion of the Afari military hospital, the one in Kumasi, the story says the 500-bed military facility started in 2014, he said was almost done, and what was left was the electrical systems. He explained that the delay in the project, conceived in 2008, was due to the difficulty in securing land. If you listen to the health minister, I also said that the new hospitals, there's a difficulty in securing land. And I'm surprised that when the state wants to do something, we usually give this excuse of difficulty in securing land. But when individuals in power within the state want to do something, they manage to bulldoze their way or have ways of getting large tracts of land for their personal projects. How does that happen?
Let me give you 2 responses to something we've been pushing on this show. IGP directs police to protect tomato importers traveling to Burkina Faso. This story is by Hafiz Tijani, citynewsroom.com, citybusinessnews.com. IGP James Opon-Buenu has directed the deployment of armed police officers to provide escort services for tomato traders and transporters who travel to neighboring Burkina Faso to import the commodity. This comes after the Tomato Traders and Transporters Association declared a strike because of lack of concern for the security of their members. The association said 7 of their members had been robbed and shot in less than 3 weeks while returning from Burkina Faso with tomatoes. 2 of them, however, died following the attacks, forcing traders and transporters to embark on the strike. Now, Deputy Ashanti Regional Police Commander DCOP David Ajimanajim, who met the traders on behalf of the IGP, in a City News interview, assured of the police's support. And here's a quote. The IGP sent me through the regional commander to give you a message. The IGP wants me to assure them that he already has a men deployed on the highway and that we should give them escort all the way on the highway. And he says the police was also exploring the possible military support in escorting the tomato trucks. Now, still on the tomato issues, build capacity of tomato farmers to help meet local demand. Government aid. This is a story by Bobi Osei, and this is from the Fruits and Vegetable Producers Association of Ghana. They've urged the government to invest in building the production capacity of tomato farmers in Ghana, as well as the development of better varieties of tomatoes to increase the quality of tomatoes. Don't forget, yesterday 2 days ago, we spoke about Ghana importing 75,000 tons of tomatoes to meet domestic demand, with majority of this coming from neighboring Burkina Faso. Also imagine that Ghana loses approximately almost $100 million to Burkina Faso through the importation. In fact, $99.5 million. Now, the association is basically saying government needs to do more to support local tomato farmers so we can meet our demand.
Let me take you to the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Last year, the big story was Electoral Commission voters registration. This year, something big is going to happen, the population and housing census. The Ghana Statistical Service has earmarked 521 million Ghana cedis for the exercise. Now, Kingsley Asari writes that the Ghana Statistical Service has earmarked 521 million Ghana cedis for the 2021 Housing and Population Census. The government statistician, Prof. Samuel K. Enim, has said this is a little bit higher than the 477 million Ghana cedis earlier budgeted for the exercise. And explaining the increase, he said due to COVID-19, they have to buy a lot of PPE for enumerators and respondents. And he said the exercise should have been conducted last year, but had to be postponed due to the outbreak of COVID-19.
Talking about COVID, page 7 of the Daily Guide says students and lecturers, as well as non-teaching staff at the campus of the University of Energy and Natural Resources at Fiapre in the Sunyani West municipality of the Bono region, have been gripped with fear as 4 students and a lecturer tested positive for COVID According to info released by the Executive Committee of the university yesterday, the Committee of the Academic Board of the university received the bad news from the COVID-19 response team of the uni, which also got information from the uni's clinic in the last 7 days. The affected students and the lecturer are now self-isolating while contact tracing is ongoing to stop any further spread. And in the Volta region, the whole municipal assembly is issuing a sweeping order requiring the use of face masks by residents at all public places, or risk paying a spot fine of 20 cedis as the country continues to report daily COVID-19 cases. And there's a picture of the receipt you'll be given.
Now,
we have to have 12 COVID deaths. So that's on City News. 12 more persons have succumbed to the disease, pushing the death toll to 494. There's also a breakdown. Greater Accra is just crazy. Greater Accra cases, 43,044. Second is Ashanti, 13,231. So I don't know what's happening. And in terms of the active cases as well, Greater Accra leads with 3,471. Ashanti follows with 1,256.
Now, 2 days ago, we were having a conversation about Ghanaian doctors and health professionals leaving Ghana and the distribution of health professionals in general.
Yes.
Let me bring you this story. Accra, Kumasi take 82% of medical doctors in Ghana.
That was from the vetting.
Yes, it was from the vetting. And Kweku Ajimamenu, the health minister designate, has bemoaned the death of medical doctors in Ghana, assuring the nation of the ministry's commitment to train more to fill the gap. He told the Appointments Committee of Parliament during his vetting on Wednesday that of the 16 administrative regions, the Greater Accra and the Ashanti regions alone took 82% of medical doctors in Ghana. I'm reading this because of the earlier conversation about postings, people wanting to go, people not wanting to go, and the various issues. Yeah.
Talking about doctors and all of that, I'm sure certain people in the Sawam will need doctors. Why? Because a DAF CF 350 truck on Thursday morning crashed about 5 cars, including a school bus, following alleged brake failure at Sawam in the eastern region. The truck was moving from Accra to Kumasi with 2 occupants and was loaded with 850 bags of cement.
Jesus Christ.
Now, the cement truck was said to be descending a slope when its brakes failed and it crashed into several vehicles which were ahead. Now, the good news is that nobody died and that the school children escaped unhurt, and they were examined at the Insawam Government Hospital, and other people were also treated and discharged. But there's a picture there of that pile up, several vehicles on top of each other.
And when I'm talking about in Sawam, there's a lot of sand winning, in most cases illegal, going on around the various towns and villages in Sawam. And the national security agencies must pay attention, because that's also one of the food baskets for Accra. Now, if you go to the Finder page 2, interesting story. Taking cocoa has prevented me from getting malaria. And Reverend Father Andrew Campbell, the parish priest of the Christ the King Catholic Church, has joined the ongoing national campaign to encourage the consumption of chocolate and cocoa products, with a powerful personal story of how his consistent consumption of cocoa powder has made him virtually immune to malaria in over 3 decades. He says he believes that cocoa has boosted his immunity and his body is able to fight diseases and he's not gotten malaria.
So this is the chocolate week.
Yes.
So we should drink something chocolate.
Thank you for the chocolate you shared with us yesterday.
Thank you.
I got it from the cocoa people.
Well,
Final one from
it says
DNF.
banks borrowed 2.57 billion from BOG in pandemic year. So that's quite interesting. It says within a period of 1 year, liquidity support from the central bank to the banking industry has increased by a massive 193%. A situation analysts blame on the impact of COVID on businesses, which led to an increased demand for cash, hence pushing banks to fall on the lender of last resort.
If you're coming from Kaswa to Accra and there's any other route please use it, because I'm getting an alert that the traffic is terrible, so drivers should use other routes.
There's no route. If you are
are you sure?
If you are coming from Kaswa to Accra, the place the traffic is, there's nowhere to hide. You will go through it. There's nothing.
Then don't come.
Unless you have a helicopter.
Or you can drive your car on the sea.
Or just call your boss and say you work from home.
Then don't come.
This is the City Breakfast Show. The city's